Hi, everybody. This is Lowell, and we're talking about how to start a music school. And as I've talked in previous videos about, it's important for you to discover your why. And these are, I'm just by illustration giving you my whys, and you don't have to agree with me or make that for you, but maybe it'll inspire you to have, some deeper thought about it. And we've talked about the power and impact that music has in our lives in previous videos. And I talked about the pattern that's given to us in the Old Testament in the Judeo-Christian tradition of the tabernacle, and then the middle section of the tabernacle being equivalent or synonymous with the human soul of mind, will, and emotions. And so, in my view, music can function to be a benefit in people's lives, to their mind, to their emotions, and to their will. And this video, I wanted to talk about the emotion of music. And again, my father and I had many discussions about what is music and how does it function and what is performance and all of this kind of thing. And in the previous video, I talked about how music can affect patterns and the mind in certain ways. And this video is about emotion. Anyway, he did a kind of a deep dive into what are the primary pillars of emotion. And you, just like in art, painting, you have your three primary colors of yellow, blue, and red, and you mix these together to create other colors. He believed that music also has three primary emotions, and he discovered an article that was written by somebody who's exploring Christian worship and what a worship service should look like based upon the various pillars of faith. And it really inspired my dad to understand something about emotion that he hadn't seen before. Anyway, the article that he was talking about correlated essentially the aspects of Christian worship as Jesus going to the cross, struggling against sin, and then his resurrection, bringing hope, and then his ascension and soon return as reigning king to be victory or celebration. And so the three pillars of emotion in the context of a worship service would be struggle, assurance, and celebration. And so what my father did is he took that and used Roman numerals. So a Roman numeral 1 would be struggle, a Roman numeral 2 would be assurance, and then Roman numeral 3 would be celebration. And so he would go through his scores that he was studying in preparation for concerts and mark the sections of the music that seemed like they were struggle based, and then the other two as well. And obviously, just like primary colors, you never have exactly perfectly one thing. You can mix them together to create as many different hues and shades as you want. But he just was looking for general emotional content in the music that he was studying in his scores. And so there might be a high soaring melody that had a lot of hope to it, but then underneath it, there would be this driving, marching rhythm at the same time. And so he would notate in the score there would be 2/1. And in his study, he would find that when you had a multiple emotions happening simultaneously of struggle, assurance, and celebration all at the same time, that was some of the most ethereal and sublime types of emotion musically. And so then he would look at a broader picture of all these different sections, and he could determine, okay, well, this was a section of music that really mostly was about one type of emotion, or this movement of music was mostly of this type of emotion. And so when he was structuring or programming his concerts, he would make sure that it wasn't overly balanced toward one thing or the other. For example, if you had a whole concert that was just predominantly struggle based, that really didn't give the audience much hope. And then if you had a concert that was too celebration based, then it lost meaning. And then if it was too assurance based, then it would become too sappy and overly sweet and really not say too much. And so you had to have the proper ratio, the proper balance between all of those three in order for them to have a complete, what he considered a complete story. So all of that is helpful, I think, in terms of understanding the emotion of music. But as a performer and as people that interrelate with the music, let's say that I'm playing a Brahms sonata. I'm taking the music that Brahms wrote many years ago, and then I'm trying to bring that as a performer into the here and now. So how do I do that effectively? Do I just play it, and just do all the dynamics and all the bowings, all the notes exactly as Brahms wrote it and leave it at that? Or is there an emotional element that I'm adding into that? And so how does that emotional element happen? And so again, my thesis of what music is, music is not merely sound, but it is also relationships, predominantly relationships, but it's also relationship of you with the music. And so you have to have a place of consent with the music as a performer. You have to find the emotions within yourself from your own experience, your own life experience, that actually relates to the music that you're trying to share. And there was this one situation that I saw this demonstrated that was very powerful. The conductor, Benjamin Zander, was conducting a master class, and there was a vocalist who was doing an aria. I can't remember what opera it was from, but she and Benjamin Zander, the conductor, was at the piano, and he was accompanying her. And she did a fine performance. It was a master class, and everything was good, everything was right, the notes were right, the diction was fine, everything was fine, but it lacked passion. And so he worked with her, in the master class, and he said, this particular aria that you're singing was about a woman who had lost the love of her life. And then he said, have you ever in your life lost somebody that you loved, or something similar? And she thought, and she said, that she did. And he says, okay, now sing this, remembering that. And she did. And what happened, I'll remember forever, is she connected to the music that she was singing in a way that resonated within her, and also with everybody in the audience. And when she finished, everybody was in tears, including myself. Something happened. She connected emotionally with the intent of the composer, and also she agreed emotionally in her own life what she was singing about. And so the power of music emotionally to help people transition from one area of emotion to another. Many people in life get stuck in one emotion. They get stuck in anger, or they get stuck in being happy, whatever. And life is really a flow. It's a balance of all of these different types of emotions and experiences. And the power and beauty of music is to allow people to experience the fullness of the spectrum of what humanity should be experiencing, and not get stuck. And so these are just a few thoughts about how music can function emotionally. And I know that I'm speaking these things in an analytical way, but to quote the great composer Jean Sibelius, music begins where the possibilities of language end. And so music has a capacity to communicate in ways that analysis cannot, and just simply talking about it cannot. So those are some of my thoughts, but that's my next why, is is the value of emotions that music can help us understand and participate in.